Hey guys, welcome back to another video review. We have the High Priestess of the Undead, Morgolyth. On the side of the package, we can see a picture of Morgolyth along with a bit of lore written down. On the back of the package, we have new artwork for 2.0 and a few paragraphs on the lore of Mythic Legions. Let's check her out. All Mythic Legions come in collector-friendly packaging. No tape or anything to rip, it easily comes apart or puts back together. Morgolyth is the High Priestess and the leader of the Congregation of Necronominus. While she might not be as brutal and savage as her two brothers, Malleus and Mandibulus, she does possess the ability to see through all the eyes of her undead soldiers. With this power, she keeps a watchful eye on every action in her kingdom, waiting for the moment that her father, Necronominus, will return. Let's look at some details. On the front of Morgolyth's head, we can see she's wearing a huge decorative helmet. We can see a pattern of swirls and layers in the sculpting. Her eyes are covered in a silver mask, and her exposed mouth shows dirty teeth. The top of the helmet has more swirls and layers that meets at a point at the top. On the side of the helmet, we can get a better look at the swirls in the helmet. On the chest, we have more of that decorative armor, with the silver ribcage sculpted over the armor. We have a combination of black, purple, and silver paint in this area. On the back, we have a ton of detail in the armor. We have a symmetrical pattern here, and we can notice large sockets in the back. We will be covering two of them with shoulder armor later on. The skeletal shoulders have small layers of plated armor riveted onto each other. And under the shoulder, we can see the textured bone. It has a rough feel to it, and we can see small dents in the sculpting. The arms have armored bracers with black straps on them, while the hands are exposed. The skeletal hands are washed in a grimy paint. On the lower front, we have a long purple cloth hanging down from the belt. We don't have much detail in the paint here, but we can notice the wavy sculpting. On the side, we have a heavy plated skirt armor with a detailed pattern in the center. Underneath, we have skeletal thighs that continue with the rough texture of the bone. The armored night legs have more of that purple and silver details, matching the rest of the armor on the figure. And to finish up the figure, we have skeletal feet. The sculpting here is very detailed, as we can see individual toes and other bones. Let's check out the articulation. We have a ball jointed head, shoulders that open and rotate, elbow that bends and rotates, a rotating forearm, wrists that bend forward and back and rotate, a ball jointed chest with a tiny bit of range, a waist that rotates, thighs that open and move forward and back, knee that bends back and rotates, and we have feet that bend up and down and rotate at the foot and ankle. Let's check out what we get with her. We get a pair of small shoulder armor in matching purple paint. To install the shoulders, you just have to match the peg with the socket in the back and push them in. We get a nylon feeling cape. It's pretty stretchy and has a few holes at the top to attach to the figure. To attach the cape to the figure, you stretch out the holes over the shoulder pegs and then attach them to the figure. Afterwards, you can then adjust the cape any way you want it. We get a very large greatsword with runes inscribed onto the blade. We have a large black hilt with spikes sticking out all over the sides. We get a small decorative dagger with purple and silver markings on the sheath. We can remove the sheath to reveal a small sharp blade. We get a bronze mage staff with the mage staff topper that sockets into the staff's peg. And we get a standard silver sword with a gold hilt. We get a pair of adapters for the wings. If you had wings, you would attach them to this figure using this. And lastly, we get a small version of the belt that fits 2.0 bodies. As the High Priestess and leader of the Undead Army, Morgolyth stands to be a very important character in the Mythic Legion's lore. Her unique armor and head sculpt sets her apart from the rest of the skeletal action figures. The silver and purple paint give her a high-class regal look, and her cape really adds to the high status of her figure. The detail on the action figure is amazing. 4 Horsemen knocked this one out of the park, with tons of detail all over the sculpting. Her giant crown is stuffed with swirl designs, and even the tiny details like on her teeth really show the length they went to detail this figure. Accessory wise, the greatsword she comes with is really huge, and not very priest-like. but that's what makes her cool. She's not an ordinary character. I do wish we had an unhelmeted version of her head. I would like to see what's under her mask, but 4 weapons in total is a great value, and the cape she comes with is a good quality material. If you're a fan of the undead, Morgolyth is a must-have. She's an important character in the lore and is extremely unique looking and is a pretty good value for the accessories. Overall, I'm happy with this figure. She'll make a great addition to my skeletal army, and I recommend her to anyone looking for a unique skeletal figure. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Check out some of my other videos and I'll be back with more reviews soon.